It has become the end of an era. Officially, Tom Brady has announced his retirement from the NFL after 22 seasons, with the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers putting an end to an era, to an offseason. We also saw Ben Roethlisberger retire. The season prior to this one, Phillip Rivers retired. Drew Brees retired at the end of this season, or prior to last season. Eli Manning's already gone. Aaron Rodgers might be the only one left from the mid-2000s, early 2000s, that is still playing in this era of football. Huge news. And I know that it kind of settled in with everybody with all the announcements, with Adam Schefter kind of having a jump start and kind of announcing the retirement early on, not to the liking of Brady. So it kind of had time for a lot of people to sink this in. So it's not really that shocking for everyone. But for Tom Brady to officially come out and say, I'm done, it's over, my attention needs to go somewhere else, is pretty big news. Welcome into a brand new episode of Time2Football. My name is Hassan Khan, the host of this podcast that we like to call Time2Football. Glad you guys are able to join us on this wonderful, marvelous, amazing Tuesday, the first day of February. Hey guys, tomorrow, it's a significant day. This whole week has been significant. We find out that the Rams and the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. We find out that Tom Brady is retiring. And then tomorrow on Groundhog's Day, we find out the official name of the Washington football team. Please, please, please don't be the Washington Armada. That is the stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. That is even more stupid than I'm trying to think of another team name for the Washington. Anything would be better than Washington Armada. Washington Commanders, sure. Not my favorite, but sure. Hey, Washington Red Hogs, sure. Not my favorite, but sure. But the Washington Armada, if that happens, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to throw some punches, for real. For real. Let's stay focused here, guys. We're going to be talking about this later on. I had a late start to the show just because we had something planned. We were going to be talking about the San Francisco 49ers, talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, talking about his future and moving forward. But then I had to nix that segment because I was like, breaking news just happened. So I had to get the graphics and everything together and prepare for this segment coming up. But Tom Brady, it's officially over for Tom Brady. He has retired from the NFL after 22 seasons, and just like a blimp on the radar, didn't really leave a mark in the 6th round when people drafted him. But following his journey in the NFL, going from a 6th rounder, winning a Super Bowl in his 2nd season in the NFL, and getting to the point that he is right now, Tom Brady, golly, the GOAT. This is huge. And it's just, for some reason, it's just huge right now, just hearing it from him. Tom Brady gone from the NFL. We're going to have a whole segment where we just react to the news later on in the show. But first, before we get into everything, every single Tuesday, what I like to do is I like to give out the most prestigious award on the show, the Hungriest Player of the Week. Hungriest Player of the Week, the one that wanted it the most. Whew. This isn't going to a player with the best stats, that's for sure. This player isn't meant to be given, or this award isn't meant to be given to a player with the best stats. Last week we had Jordan Willis of the San Francisco 49ers, defensive end, win the award. You're like, who the heck is that? He was the one that was responsible for that blocked punt against the Green Bay Packers that led to a touchdown. The 49ers were able to upset the Green Bay Packers. This is what this award is about. Players stepping up in big moments and taking advantage of that moment. So I'm going to mention a guy that you probably have not heard of, but the Patriots would definitely, absolutely sign him to a 4-year, $60 million deal, and that is Trent Taylor, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, I actually had the opportunity to one time interview Trent Taylor. Actually, it was not that long ago. It was a couple of years ago when the San Francisco 49ers and the the Kansas City Chiefs went to the Super Bowl. So I had an opportunity to interview Trent Taylor because I was interviewing the Super Bowl players, and I was interviewing Trent Taylor for the 49ers. I was going to see if I could bring up this video, but it might just take a little bit too much time. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? Um, I'll show you an interview that I had with Trent Taylor coming up right over here. But Trent Taylor, the reason why he is the hungriest player of the week this week is because he had 2 returns, and he was actually pretty good in the punt return game for the Cincinnati Bengals. But the moment that mattered the most, when the Bengals were on the comeback, they kicked a field goal by Evan McPherson. They were down, 3-21. They scored touchdown, field goal, 13-21. Scored touchdown. You got to tie the game to make it 21-21 for a chance to go into overtime. Trent Taylor came in at that 2-point conversion play, getting signed off the practice squad earlier that week, and being in a crucial moment where you have to tie the game and making a reception in the end zone for a 2-point conversion, tying the game, leading the Cincinnati Bengals to an overtime victory 27-24 over the Kansas City Chiefs. And that is why Trent Taylor is the hungriest player of the week. Let me go ahead and pull up this interview that I had with Trent Taylor 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, I look like a youngin. No, I look the exact same.
Whenever I play Madden.
Audio issues. All right. Let me go ahead and cue this up and then get this going for you guys.
To let the fans know at home, because they agree with me, whenever I play Madden, I always make sure whichever team I control, I make a trade for you, because you are a great player in Madden if utilized the right way.
Sweet.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I'm a fan of it. Yeah, I guess that's how I am in real life too. I guess if you know how to use a guy like me in your offense, I think it can be a big weapon for you. So I like it.
To let the fans know at home, because
So yeah, and he was utilized the right way this past weekend with the Cincinnati Bengals versus the San Francisco 49ers. So congrats to Trent Taylor for being this week's hungriest player of the week. By the way, you guys can follow me. This was posted on Twitter at It's Hassan Khan. At It's Hassan Khan is my personal account, and then at Time2Football. We have fun. We just tweet during Sundays during the games. We just like to laugh, have a good time. So make sure you guys give me a follow on there. All right, you guys are chatting with us in the live chat right now. I'll actually go ahead and put out a reminder right here. You guys can go ahead and call in to our Discord server. So if you guys want the opportunity to chat with us live, whether it be about Tom Brady and the news that just came out, or you want to talk about the Super Bowl coming up, whatever it may be, your opinion on something, you have a question on something, I encourage you guys to join this Discord server. The link is in the description of this YouTube video. And you can chat with us live. In the next 15, 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be pulling some people and getting them on air to get their opinions live on air. So the voice channel under the Discord server, just hang out in that waiting room channel. And then I'm going to bring you guys on. And then we're going to be talking about whatever you guys want to be talking about. But you guys can go ahead and comment everything that you want in this live chat right now. We've got a lot of love for Tom Brady. According to Brian Drake, TB12 is the GOAT. I agree. I don't think anyone would disagree with that at this point. I mean, he's the greatest quarterback of all time that has ever played, and I don't think anyone is ever going to be matching the resume that he's had. Congratulations to the most successful NFL careers ever. Enjoy your next life, TB12. This is from Holy Samurai Jerusalem. I agree, man. Enjoy the next chapter with Giselle and your kids and everything else that you got planned in your life. But yeah, you guys can continue to leave your comments. I'll be acknowledging you guys throughout the duration of the show. Now let's get into NFL news and notes. What's happening around the league? So we already announced Tom Brady's retirement. We're not going to really touch base on that. But let's get more into the nitty-gritty stuff that not really a lot of people are talking about. For instance, the head coaching interviews that are going on. We've been updating you guys for the last 3 weeks, ever since Black Monday was a thing, ever since Black Sunday was a thing, since Vic Fangio was fired on that Sunday after that Saturday football game. We want to update you guys on head coaching updates and what's going on. Well, tomorrow, Jim Harbaugh will be flying out to Minnesota to be interviewing for the Minnesota Vikings position. This is a possibility now that 3 finalists have been announced for the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, the offensive coordinator of the LA Rams, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, and then Jim Harbaugh. It could have been DeMeco Ryans as a finalist for the Minnesota Vikings. However, he pulled out of the running. I really said pulled out on air. DeMeco Ryans pulled himself out of the running to be a head coach of the Minnesota Vikings to get another season underneath his belt as the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. He declined the second interview that they wanted to give him. So, DeMeco Ryans not going to be given another shot for the Minnesota Vikings because on his own terms, he wanted to pull out of that job. The Buffalo Bills are interviewing Edgar Bennett, the Raiders wide receiver coach, for their next offensive coordinator position. Brian Daboll has left for the New York Giants. They need a void to fill. Josh Allen is in the conversation on who he wants to bring in. So Edgar Bennett of the Raiders is a name that has popped up for the Buffalo Bills, as well as T. Martin. How fitting is this that we talk about T. Martin, the guy that was drafted before Tom Brady in 2000s, actually was a quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteer college football team, was drafted before Tom Brady, was part of that Brady 6 documentary. He became a coach at Kentucky, and then he also is now the Ravens wide receiver coach currently, and he's going to be interviewing for the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator position. The Green Bay Packers have promoted Adam Stenavich to offensive coordinator. He was the offensive line coach previously to this position. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in the running, as well as the New Orleans Saints, to land Doug Peterson as their next head coach. The Jaguars yesterday have interviewed Rich Bisaccia. We announced that on the live stream after we ended the stream. It came out that Doug Peterson had a second interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. The New Orleans Saints have been interviewing or are scheduled to interview Doug Peterson later on this week. The Houston Texans are in the news as far as the head coaching position goes. Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator, I should say, of the Philadelphia Eagles, is granted his second interview with the Houston Texans. Brian Flores is also getting another interview with the Houston Texans. And then Kevin O'Connell, second interview as well for the Houston Texans. So it's narrowed down to Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, Jonathan Gannon, and Josh McCown. Those are the four guys that have had 2 interviews each and are in the running for the Houston Texans head coaching position. The Indianapolis Colts have interest in Chris Richard, Gus Bradley, and Joe Witt Jr. for their defensive coordinator position. The Indianapolis Colts, so Chris Richard, he used to be the defensive coordinator for the he was a defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, and then I think he was a defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, he's with the New Orleans Saints right now as a DB's coach. Gus Bradley is the defensive coordinator currently of the Las Vegas Raiders. With Josh McDaniels in town, he's probably not going to be retained. With Chris Richard, the New Orleans Saints, they might be going in a different direction. He may not be retained as a defensive backs coach. And then Joe Witt Jr. Is a Cowboys secondary coach currently. Those 3 guys are in the running for the Colts defensive coordinator position. And then finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars front office news are interviewing Rick Spielman, Slick Rick, the former Minnesota Vikings general manager, for a front office position. Jaguars fans are like, hey, just get rid of Trent Baalke at this point. They're like, nah. Hey, Rick Spielman, we'll take him over Trent Baalke. Nah. He'll just have a front office position. I don't know. I don't know if this means that he's going to be gone with Trent Baalke or Shad Khan's going to move on. I don't know. I just know that Rick Spielman is going to be interviewing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's your head coaching and front office updates for today. Tyler Higbee, good news for as far as injury goes, because I know that Gabriel, you were commenting down below in the live chat. Drew Sample not on the same level like CJ Uzomah, so big advantage for the Rams defending the passing game and the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I agree. I think that Drew Sample had like one good game on like a primetime game against the Cleveland Browns like last season in 2020. And then all the fantasy football experts, like the fantasy footballers, for like 6, 7, 8 weeks straight were like, Drew Sample should be an ad. Drew Sample, start Drew Sample. And I'm like, oh my gosh. No, it doesn't work like that. Fantasy footballers, actually, I have a whole lot of respect for them. Whole lot of respect. They're amazing. But yeah, Drew Sample was a one-time fantasy football darling in just one game, and then after that didn't really do anything. He may not be playing, or at least not starting, for the Cincinnati Bengals for the Super Bowl because injury news for the 2 tight ends that are injured playing in the Super Bowl, Tyler Higbee and CJ Uzomah, both are dealing with MCL sprains. Tyler Higbee's not that serious. For CJ Uzomah, it's a little bit more serious. The fact that he was carted off and he was on crutches and had a brace around his knee. Zach Taylor has stated there's optimism. There's no ruling out CJ Uzomah just yet. He has a chance to play in the Super Bowl. So if CJ Uzomah plays, he's going to be starting over Drew Sample. Tyler Higbee, a little bit more optimism. He avoided a major knee injury, but he's still questionable going into the big game. Kenny Pickett, some NFL draft news, is not getting his hands measured at the Senior Bowl. Hey, why is that? Do you have small hands? Do you not want people to see, okay, small hands is going to hurt your draft stock? He said, no. It's actually, as a matter of fact, I'm double jointed, and that might mess with the readings with measuring your hands. So we've gotten to this point in the season where NFL news is we talk about a man's hands. Josh McDaniels supports Derek Carr in his press conference that he had yesterday, getting introduced as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. Did not dip out. He was there. He didn't dip. Josh McDaniels actually showed up to this press conference and he's announced as the Raiders head coach. It's final. No leaving now. Josh McDaniels, in that press conference, publicly supported Derek Carr. He said, I like Derek Carr. I think we can win a lot of football games with him. With that said, that puts to rest the rumors of Derek Carr getting traded to Seattle, getting traded to New Orleans. I don't know. I think Derek Carr rumors was like kind of out there. We could put this matter to bed. That's what she said. Jimmy Garoppolo, final little bit of NFL news, is to undergo thumb surgery. Now, this surgery has a 4 to 6 week recovery, so it's not going to affect him for 2022. However, I just wanted to go ahead and mention it just because it's news. And that is your NFL news and notes for today. Jimmy G getting that surgery for the future team that he plays with. Because, my gosh, he is not, more than likely not staying with the 49ers. All right, man. All right. Here we go. Tom Brady, man. If you guys didn't join us at the beginning of the show, we've been talking about Tom Brady pretty much for half of the show, talking about his retirement. And if you guys didn't join us, I mean, it's official that Tom Brady has officially retired from the NFL, announcing on Instagram, it's over. His playing days have come to an end after 22 seasons with the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady looking forward to bigger and better things, new adventures, new endeavors in his life. Wants to give his attention to his family, and what a career for the GOAT. No one can match his resume. Tom Brady retiring from the NFL. I just want to take a moment real quick to kind of just react to this. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. I was kind of late in starting this live stream just because I had a whole segment planned where I was going to be talking about the 49ers. I was going to be talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, his future. And then this news dropped probably 15 minutes before we go on air. And then I was like, man, I gotta change everything around. So I just created new graphics. I created, just wrote down some notes about Tom Brady. And I don't really have this segment planned too much. So this is just pretty much reacting to everything and just me talking off the top of my head. I started watching football in 2006. I remember the first game that I ever watched was a Manning versus Manning matchup, the first Sunday night football game that I've ever watched. It was the Indianapolis Colts versus the New York Giants. I was 13 years old, and this is the reason why it got me into football, this game, because I saw commercials for it. I saw that NBC was promoting the Sunday night football thing. I was like, oh, okay, I've never been a fan of the NFL. I never watched football, but the storyline seemed pretty cool. Like, it's brothers versus each other, facing off. Yeah, I'll watch that. So that was the very first game that I watched. It was week 1 of 2006. And then after that, I was hooked. And I watched almost every game right after that. And one of the guys that I really grew up watching was Tom Brady. And I think a lot of you guys can sympathize with this, that Tom Brady is your childhood. Like, whether you're from your, started watching when you were 7, 8, 9 years old, whatever it may be, to even grown men started watching football or started watching Tom Brady at least play when you guys were 30 years old. It doesn't really matter. You kind of grew up with Tom Brady being a part of your football life. And this kind of, him retiring, it just feels different. I know that for me, the quarterbacks that I grew up watching and the era that I watched football was Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Kurt Warner, um, like a lot of good quarterbacks out there that I grew up watching. But for some reason, when those guys retired, it was kind of like, oh man, like it's great nostalgia to go back and watch the clips and everything, and like, man, I'm gonna miss this guy. Peyton Manning was one of those guys as well for me. But Tom Brady, man, just today, it just kind of hits different. Just kind of hits different. I know that we had a couple days to let this sink in because Adam Schefter kind of jumped the gun a little bit, and not to the liking of Tom Brady. I think he wanted to announce that on his own terms, but Adam Schefter kind of eased the crowd, eased the people into knowing that Tom Brady is going to be retiring soon. And he was correct. And Tom Brady officially has been retiring or has announced his retirement here today. I want to go ahead and hear what you guys feel about Tom Brady in the comment section down below. Like, definitely leave your thoughts on, like, hey, what's your favorite Tom Brady memory? What are your thoughts on Tom Brady retiring? Even if you want to get more on like a analytical standpoint and just be like, all right, Tom Brady gone. Let's look to the future. What are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to be doing? Yeah, definitely leave your thoughts in your comments down below. Because I would love to definitely reminisce and hear your favorite Tom Brady memories. Some of my favorite Brady memories was one of them was seeing him play in so many Super Bowls. I think I had the privilege of saying, okay, Tom Brady, I got to watch history being made. I got to see him win his third Super Bowl, his fourth Super Bowl, his fifth Super Bowl, his sixth Super Bowl, his seventh Super Bowl. I got to see all of that happen. And seeing him play Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl, it was one of those things where many people were like, man, I don't want to see this happen again. I don't want to see the Patriots. I don't want to see Tom Brady make it to the Super Bowl again. I want a refresher. I want something new. Whereas I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to see like a new fan base win, like a new team win. But also at the same time, like if Tom Brady makes it to the Super Bowl, I'm a guy that appreciates history. I know that this isn't going to last forever, and I want to see it happen. The only time that I saw, or I kind of was hoping that history didn't happen, was when he went to the Super Bowl in 2007 against the New York Giants. The New York Giants, like I mentioned, that was the first game that I ever watched. I saw Eli Manning play. I saw the Giants and Eli Manning be this whole underdog story. In 2007, going up against the undefeated 16-0 New England Patriots, I thought to myself, man, it would be such a cool story if the Giants were to pick up this upset and nobody believed in them and everything. So, like, that was the only time I kind of rooted against Brady to see that happen. But other than that, you kind of was like, okay, I'm not a fan of Tom Brady. I don't want to see him in the Super Bowl, but I'm hoping that he does win because I want to see history happen. I want to envision myself experiencing history. And then when he won the most Super Bowls that he's ever won, and great fashion against teams like the Seattle Seahawks, against the Atlanta Falcons, coming back 28-3. I mean, it's you got to experience history. You definitely did. I'm just rambling about nothing. I honestly have no take on anything. I'm just talking about growing up and watching Tom Brady. So, yeah, seriously, leave your thoughts in your comments. I'd love to interact with the guys in the comment section of this video. But Tom Brady, he's done. He's done. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what's the future hold? I don't know. They could be traded for a quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers comes, they're going to pick up right where they left off. They have a lot of faith in Blaine Gabbert taking over as a bridge quarterback. They've said this before. They're okay with Blaine Gabbert. But if they want to make a big splash move, there's a few quarterbacks out there on the market that I think the Buccaneers would be trying to make a push for. But yeah, Tom Brady, gone from the NFL. It's over. The end of an era. Now let's get into the live chat, see what you guys are saying, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and tune in to the Discord. If you guys want to go ahead and click that link in the description and join our Discord server and talk about anything. You want to talk about Tom Brady? You want to talk about the Super Bowl? You want to talk about whatever it may be? I encourage you guys to do so. Now, speaking of the Super Bowl, I don't want any of this to take away from the Super Bowl and the game that is going to be happening, because that's even bigger news, being a world champion more so than a player retiring. I know it's huge news. I know that he's the greatest of all time. I understand that, but give credit where credit is due. Let's every day acknowledge that the Rams and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, and it should be a very good one coming up in SoFi Stadium in the next 12 days. You're going to have Nita Strauss out there playing the electric guitar for the LA Rams, introducing them in their own home stadium prior to Super Bowl 56. Joe Burrow being that underdog story, maybe even comeback player of the year, leading the Cincinnati Bengals and their fan base that has been starving for a Super Bowl championship for so long, potentially to their first Super Bowl victory. It could be against Matthew Stafford, who has experienced a lot of downfalls in his NFL career. That's your Super Bowl coming up. But yeah, call into the Discord if you guys want to chat about anything. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat as we are chatting right now. Roger saying, yeah, he's the GOAT, but did he have to snub the Patriots like that? To each their own. To each their own. I know that maybe some Patriots fans, I've been talking to some Patriots fans actually, and when that happened in 2019, when he kind of moved on from the Patriots and went to the Buccaneers, and one of them stated, listen, he could throw 0 touchdowns and 69 nice interceptions every single year he's with the Patriots. He could leave the Patriots. He can do whatever he wants to do. I know that I, as a Patriots fan, have been able to experience 6 Super Bowl victories because of him. And since he did that, he can do whatever he wants. I'm just thankful for whatever he did with the New England Patriots, for the time and the effort and the energy and practice and preparation and in games that he put in to bring us 6 Super Bowls. That's the mentality of Patriots fans. And if he wants to retire as a New England Patriot, which more than likely he's probably going to do, signing a one-day contract, having a whole press conference, it's going to be a whole big deal, then so be it. Like, Patriots fans are going to be introducing him back, welcoming him back, like, thank you for everything that you've done. You have changed our lives. Like, you brought back, I grew up in Boston. So many different scenarios. Like, Patriots fans sympathize with Tom Brady and empathize with him, and they will welcome him back. So whether you think he wronged the Patriots, whether you think he didn't, it doesn't really matter. He brought 6 Super Bowls to that team, and I think everybody's grateful for that. Jordanian Poppy, yeah, holy TB12 announcement, yeah, from the guy himself, announcing it. And I was going to actually pull up the statement here, but you know what? Might as well pull up the statement as I'm pulling that up. I'm going to go ahead and answer some more questions or talk with you guys in the live chat right now. But I didn't want to bring it up just because it's kind of lengthy. But let me go ahead and pull up his Instagram and see what he's saying. Tom Brady, what you got for us? Let's see if this statement. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Can I make this bigger by any chance? It doesn't matter. All right. So, according to him and his statement, I've always believed the sport of, let me go ahead and like this, by the way. I've always believed the sport of football is an all-in proposition. If a 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed, and success is what I love so much about our game. There is this physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential, and I have tried my very best these past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. Is there... All right. I don't want to really read too much. I've done a lot of reflecting this past week, and I've asked myself difficult questions, and I am so proud of what we have achieved. My teammates, coaches, fellow competitors, and fans deserve 100% of me. But right now, it's best I lead the field of play to the next generation of dedicated and committed athletes. To my Bucs teammates the past 2 years, I love you guys, and I have loved going to battle with you. You have dug so deep to challenge yourself and have inspired me to wake up every day and give you my best. I'm always here for you guys and want to see you continue to push yourselves to be your best. I couldn't be happier with what we accomplished together. He thanks the Bucks fans, thanks the city of Tampa, the Glazer family of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They own them. Jason Light, the general manager, Bruce Arians, the head coach. To all the Bucks coaches, including Byron Leftwich, the staffs, Alex Guerrero, his trainer, Donnie, his sports agent, to his parents, his entire family, and his wife and his children. My playing career has been such a thrilling ride and far beyond my imagination and full of ups and downs. When you're in it every day, you really don't think about any kind of ending. As I sit here now, however, I think of all the great players and coaches I was privileged to play with and against. The competition has been fierce and deep, just how we like it. Wow, that's a lot of sexual undertones right there. But the friendships and relationships are just as fierce and deep. I will remember and cherish these memories and revisit them often. I feel like the luckiest person in the world. The future is exciting. Okay, now he's talking about his self-promotion, talking about TB12 Sports, talking about the Brady brand, which launched just a few months ago. In a lot of different ventures. Vortex. Hey, Tom Brady traded. Yeah, so that's a statement by Tom Brady. But let's talk about TB12 Sports, talk about the Brady brand, which launched just a few months ago. In
what the heck just happened?
Ventures. Vortex. Hey, Tom Brady.
What the heck was that?
Oh, sorry. Repeated myself. Didn't mean to do that. But yeah, join the Discord if you guys want to go ahead and do that. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the comment section. So you think Watson going to see the field for the Texans again if Flores becomes their head coach? That's by Gabriel. I don't know. I think Nick Caserio, the general manager, has come out and said we are set that Watson is not going to be playing anymore for the Houston Texans. I think it has a lot more to do with ownership as well than like just it was Bill O'Brien really that kind of caused him to be like, I'm sitting this out. The way that the Texans organization is ran, that's the reason why. So I highly doubt even Brian Flores, I don't think could save Deshaun Watson. Now, if Brian Flores gets hired somewhere else, maybe the New Orleans Saints, you best believe that the Saints are going to be wanting to trade with the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have a lengthy, like a huge price, huge bounty for Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson, if he wants to waive his no-trade clause for any team, because he ultimately has the power in deciding which team he wants to get traded to, New Orleans Saints, or whatever team Brian Flores gets hired by, whether it be the Minnesota Vikings or, whoever it may be, then yeah, I think at that point, Brian Flores could coach Deshaun Watson, but I don't think it's going to be in Houston. James Zachary, talk about Brady record versus the Saints. Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about that. We could talk about him not really being that successful against the New Orleans Saints in his NFL career. I think Drew Brees has had the best of him for a lot of his career. And even without Drew Brees this past season in 2021 with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston / Trevor Siemian being the guys to spoil the ride for Tom Brady and his battles against the New Orleans Saints. Any locked-in prop bets? Not right now. Not right now, man. I wouldn't really think about it. I would. Our Prize Picks video is going to be coming out the Friday before the Super Bowl, and same thing with our Prediction Strike video. So it's way too early, man. You don't know who's going to be playing. If, like one defensive player returning from an injury could be the reason why the Rams or the Bengals do well. So like prop bets, I'm going to hold off on them until the week of, and then we'll make a decision on that. Roger talking about that's what I mean. No mention at all of the Patriots in his retirement tweet. That's a very good point. He talked about the Bucks, and actually, you commented earlier saying, did he have to snub the Patriots like that? And that was actually a very good call and very good awareness right there to be like, yeah, he didn't mention the Patriots at all in his tweet, in his post. So I don't know if there is bad blood. I highly doubt it, man. I think when it's all said and done, I don't think players have that much animosity towards their former team that they have a lot of history with. I think that they're willing to come back and retire. So we've seen this time and time again. Like maybe even LaShawn McCoy, who retired earlier before this season, I talked about with the Philadelphia Eagles. Why did they trade me in my prime? That didn't make a lot of sense. But he still was able to have a good relationship and retire as a Philadelphia Eagle because he says it's all water underneath the bridge. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, back then when you traded me, oh man, we got the Philadelphia Eagles on the schedule. You know that I'm going to have such a good game. Like, there was animosity back then. Oh, Tom Brady is facing the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. You know that I have animosity. You know that I have a chip on my shoulder. You know that I'm going to have a good game. Ended up not having the best statistical game, but they won. But when it's all said and done, when a team retires, when a player retires from a team, I think at that point, it's okay. Like, you go back to the team that you had the most history with, that gave you the opportunity in the first place to thrive and win so many Super Bowls with. And I think it's fine. And the fact that Bill Belichick went to the locker room, which he does often, to go see Tom Brady after that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football, personally went over there and saw him himself, said, hey, congratulations on the game. Hope you're doing well. I think, it kind of settles it. I think they're fine. All right. Well, I think that's the end of the live chat. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off right here. But I appreciate you guys tuning into this episode of Time to Football. And I encourage you guys to stay subscribed to this channel. Okay, we've got live shows. Here's what's going to be happening. We've got live shows for the rest of this week. Super Bowl week, we're not going to be going live because we're going to be interviewing players via Zoom. We're going to be interviewing Bengals players and Rams players, so you don't want to miss out on that. With all that said, thank you for watching, and congrats, Tom Brady.